Good afternoon, and a sincere welcome to everyone attending the Global Environment Forum for University Student 2023. I'm Lee Jung-hyun,
I'm Lee Jung-ha.
and we're honored to moderate today's event. A warm welcome to all honest guests, Korean university students, and students from all around the world joining us from online.
This year marks 25th edition of the Global Environment Forum for University Students, which was organized to provide university students and future leaders with an opportunity to redefine their visions and goals in the era of the climate crisis. The theme of this forum is a new future created by university students, co-hosted by international environmental NGO DAEJAYON and the Seoul National University Institute for Sustainable Development.
Especially as the forum is hosted under the slogan, Show Your Influence for Blue Sky, we will share the outstanding activities of students worldwide in dealing with fine dust. We hope that it will be a meaningful time to observe the actions of the future generations to overcome the climate crisis and reflects on the influence of preserving the clear blue sky.
Before we begin the opening ceremony, university students around the world sent a congratulatory video in commencement of the forum. Let's watch it together.
Hi, my name's Anaya. I am a member of DAEJAYON and I'm currently studying history and science and psychology at Harvard University.
My name is Deborah Lindo, and I'm a recent graduate from Yale University, where I majored in French and political science.
My name is Don. I currently study sustainability and government at Harvard University.
My name is Jacob Bird, and I'm a member of DAEJAYON. Right now, I'm studying mechanical engineering and sustainability at MIT.
My name's Quentin, and I study computer science here at Tufts University.
My name is Rachel Fraser, and I'm a member from Columbia University majoring in neuroscience.
I'm really excited and want to say congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, DAEJAYON, for your Global Environmental Forum.
I'm sorry I couldn't make it in person, but I'm really excited and looking forward to connecting virtually, and hope that in person we can meet someday to do global things together.
While I'll not be able to be with you in person, I will be attending online. I look forward to seeing all my fellow DAEJAYON members at the forum.
I'm excited to be with you online and I'm excited to see all the members from all around the world.
And I can't wait to see the amazing results you have to inspire future generations to take action to protect our global village. Thank you for all that you do.
I'm looking forward to seeing you all and all the members who are dedicated to making this world a greener place.
Go DAEJAYON!
Gra DAEJAYON.
Gaja! DAEJAYON! Let's go!
Aja!
Congratulations to DAEJAYON for successfully hosting the Global Environment Forum 2023. University students lead the way. Show your influence for blue sky. For blue sky. DAEJAYON. 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 Wow.
Wow, we could feel the anticipation and the excitement for this forum. At today's forum, 500 university students from 148 universities in 26 countries are participating online, including the US, Mexico, Greece, Australia, Kenya, and the Philippines, and more.
And now, shall we meet the online participants? Yes. Welcome everyone. Your bright expressions makes today's forum even more anticipated. Students' genuine concern and proactive efforts regarding the environment are evident even through the screens.
Next, it is time to meet a special stage to celebrate this program. Did you know that the various components constituting the human body closely resemble the elements found in soil and seawater? Through this, we can understand that humans are also a part of nature. Perhaps that's why people feel a psychological stability when touching a soil and water. Positive effects such as relief of stress can also be affected through this. This time, we would like to share a story about the sea using the soil. With the standard performance, University student activities of DAEJAYON, we play melodious music together. Let's enjoy it together.
Did you enjoy the performance? The collaboration of sand art and music has added an extra layer of emotion. The process of handful of sand transforming into an adorable whale, becoming a refreshing wave and turning into a vast sky was truly fascinating.
That's right. This sender addressed the issue of marine debris. Those present here are likely well known about the severity of marine debris problem. In the Borderless Sea, plastic with various languages written on them are said to drift for hundreds of years. Solving environmental issues like that knows no borders. We must all work together to preserve the blue sky and the blue sea.
And that's why the assembly of university students from around the world makes this forum even more meaningful. Next, let's watch the video showcasing the passionate activities of university students. We will start with the video of environmental activities of DAEJAYON, followed by a worldwide landmark sky tour celebrating the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies.
Lastly, we will watch a video on Minimal Dust Challenge that was held as a pre-campaign in commemoration of this forum to make a clean blue sky. Let's watch the videos.
How is your sky?
How is your sky?
How is your sky?
How's your sky? How is your sky?
How's your sky?
How is your sky?
How is your sky?
How's your sky?
How is your sky?
How's your sky?
Do you see all this beautiful sky? I cannot even imagine living without such a wonderful sky.
Looking at the sky today here at the United Nations really reminds me of how issues of peace and security, human rights and development are interrelated, and how much we owe it to the future generations to speed up our efforts on climate action.
Today's weather is nice. The sky is blue and clear. You can hardly find any fine dust in the air.
As you can see, we are in front of the so-called Bundestag. It's a house of representatives in Germany. It's so bright and sparkling. This clear sky is awesome.
I hope that future generations will learn the color of the sky, not as ochre but as blue. Let's keep our blue sky.
Hello, blue sky. The sky is happy because we have clean and healthy air. Why not keep it blue?
Нарийн тоосонцороос үүссэн агаарын богшд нь удахгүй сүрхийн тохиом мэт. Цэнхэр тэнгэр үгүй болохын хэрээр бидний эрүүл уушигч үгүй болохыг санаа.
El cielo gris, con polvos finos, me hace sentir como si estuviera parado en una encrucijada, preguntándome a dónde ir.
Look at the sky behind the Marina Bay Sands Hotel. It looks like a work of an artist.
Now the world needs you. You are the next blue sky ambassadors we are looking for. Show your influence for clean air.
Get your future.
Get your future.
Get your future. Get your future.
Get your future.
Your clean air.
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 Healthy air. Healthy planet.
Healthy air.
Healthy planet.
Healthy air.
Healthy planet.
Healthy air. Healthy planet.
Now, His Excellency Mr. Pekka Metso, the Ambassador of Finland to South Korea, will give us a congratulatory address. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Honorary Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, President of DAEJAYON, Mrs. Lee, dear participants here at the Seoul National University and online everywhere. I want to thank you for the honor to deliver a congratulatory address here at the Global Environment Forum for University Students 2023. A remarkable event gathering 700 university students together with the vision of a cleaner and more sustainable future. Climate change is one of the biggest challenges of both the present and the future. It's happening and it's visible in our lives. It's also a cross-cutting phenomenon that affects all aspects of our existence, from environment and health to international politics and security. Therefore, the way we tackle this challenge greatly affects the world we are living in the future. Climate change is a global challenge that affects everyone, and therefore it can only be solved by working together from a local to national level, and again at the international and global level again. At the same time, the ways in which we take action can vary from place to place. The measures we take locally can have an effect that spreads globally. Climate action begins from acknowledging the challenge, even crisis, we are facing. The theme of today, fine dust and unclean air, is one part of the climate challenge that is experienced by all of us, also as individuals. The Global Environment Forum is an excellent venue to foster and increase our environment consciousness and learn from each other's activities in addressing the crisis. In Finland, we have defined a very ambitious goal of being climate neutral by 2035 and the first fossil-free advanced economy. Setting targets is important, but even more important is to find the ways to reach these targets. In addressing the challenges posed on climate and the environment, discovering innovations is essential. For solutions from innovations in science and technology to new ways of thinking and organizing society, you students, you are essential in building a sustainable future. I'm impressed by the enthusiasm towards today's forum. I can hear these loud shouts. I don't recall such loud shouts here in Korea before. Be active, create, and demand. You deserve the support of us all in this endeavor. As said, climate change can only be tackled efficiently together. I'm also very honored to say these few words before Secretary General Ban Ki-moon. Mr. Ban was the architect of the Paris Climate Change Agreement. He called this agreement a peace pact with the planet. That it is how it still stands. The future generations have to take it like that too. Just a week ago, I was having workshops on mediation and delivering a speech in the Diversity Week of Northern London Collegiate School in Jeju. When talking about young students' dreams, a young David Lee said that he wants to become like Ban Ki-moon. His visions are clearly carried on also by young Koreans. Today, I would like to hear more of that. With this, I wish you all a fruitful and successful Global Environment Forum for University students. Thank you. 감사합니다.
Mrs. Chiara Rosenberger, the first secretary of the Embassy of Italy, will give the congratulatory address. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
안녕하세요, 여러분. ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, it is really an honor for me to stand here before such a high-level audience, before Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, on behalf of the Ambassador of Italy to Korea, Ms. Emilia Gatto, and extend my heartfelt congratulations to the organizers of the Global Environment Forum for University Students 2023. I would like to thank, in particular, the president of DAEJAYON, Lee Hye-kyang, and the director of the Seoul National University Institute for Sustainable Development, Kim Ho, for inviting us here today to this important meeting. This forum holds significant importance as it places the spotlight on the indispensable role of young people in the transition to clean air and carbon neutrality. And this has been said already. In fact, as we embark on this journey towards a sustainable future, it is crucial to acknowledge the power and potential that is inherent in the youth. The main objectives of this forum, raising awareness and encouraging participation in order to achieve clean air, is incredible. Italy has been a proud sponsor of the youth dedication to the environmental causes over recent years. In October 2021, when we co-hosted COP26, you might have heard about the Organization of Youth for Climate. This was the first time then that such a forum was organized together with the COP so as to give voice to the young generation. And our experience in that occasion was that when young minds unite, they can really inspire action and make a difference, but also they can really set the path to contribute with valuable insights in the conversation and in finding a solution. Looking forward, we must continue setting ambitious goals for the future. Embracing new technologies and fostering innovative research are essential components of our journey towards sustainability. Italy stands ready to collaborate with the global community to advance in these goals. In this respect, in the previous days at COP28, the Italian government and the Italian president, Giorgia Meloni, made a commitment in allocating an extremely significant portion of the Italian Climate Fund, which was launched last year and which accounts of over 4 billion euro, to the most vulnerable nations for initiatives to mitigate and adapt to climate change. Our past experiences have taught us that international cooperation is key, as well as youth involvement. So in conclusion, let me talk directly to the young people that are here today. I encourage each and every one of you to keep in mind that the decisions made today will shape the future. And this is not something that we just say. This forum should serve as a platform for meaningful discussions, because what you do today will shape the world that you will inherit tomorrow. I wish you the best of luck and keep up the great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Chiara Zemberger, for the congratulatory address. Following this, there's a video of congratulatory address from global leaders who couldn't participate in person. So let's meet them through the video.
Greeting to all. This is Abdullah Saif al-Naimi, Ambassador of the United Arab Emirates to the Republic of Korea. I would like to extend my warmest congratulations to DAEJAYON on the successful hosting of a Global Environment Forum for University Students. The Global Environmental Forum for University Students will serve as a beacon of hope and collaboration, providing a platform for the exchange of ideas, best practices, and innovation solutions as we navigate an era of environmental challenges. Your initiative contributes significantly to building a more sustainable and resilient future for generations to come. We appreciate your leadership and the positive impact this forum will undoubtedly have on shaping policies, inspiring action, and raising awareness about the importance of preserving our planet. Your dedication to a global environmental issue is not only noteworthy, but also is an inspiration for others to follow. Once again, congratulations on this significant achievement. May the outcome of the Global Environment Forum continue to reverberate globally, fostering positive change and reinforcing our collective commitment to environmental stewardship. Thank you.
Greetings to the young leaders of the International University Student Environmental Forum. My name is Dr. Noma French Mbombo. I'm the Provincial Minister of Health in the Western Health and Wellness in the Western Cape. In South Africa, it's one of the 9 provinces in South Africa. It is an honor for me to deliver this congratulatory message to you today. Although it's virtually and it's pre-recorded, I can picture how things would be. So I would have loved probably to be there. Climate change remains a major concern towards health and well-being, as it is a threat multiplier due to its ability to exacerbate underlying vulnerabilities, worsen human health, and disrupting health systems' ability to deliver high-quality, continuous care. Global ecosystems affect all determinants of health through different channels. The World Health Organization continues to highlight the significant poor health outcomes as a result of environmental challenges, which account for more than 12.6 million deaths each year. The worsening of environmental health directly affects vulnerable groups, and we see how this impacts Africa in particular, where hospital and primary care systems are generally underdeveloped. Globally, the health sector has made pledges to do its part in tackling climate change and the effects it is having on our patients, which you recently seen in the One Health Joint Plan of Action. The approach mobilizes multiple sectors, disciplines, and communities at varying levels of society to work together to foster well-being and tackle threats to health and ecosystems while addressing the collective need for clean water, the energy and air, safe and nutritious food, taking actions on climate change, and contributing to sustainable development. For this work, we need whole of society and whole of government approaches that are sustained across generations. This where you are, our future leaders are most crucial. As we navigate the short-term, medium, and long-term futures, we need to start re-evaluating how we collaborate among stakeholders and pay close attention as to how our institutions of learning are capacitating future healthcare leaders to deal with environmental health. Health needs to be harmonious with nature. Once we start forming this strategy and global relationships from a service delivery point of view, we can then have health systems that are strengthened and have the ability to adapt to their surroundings. Thank you.
Next, the president of the DAEJAYON House will deliver a message to express her gratitude to the guests and university students around the world for attending this meaningful day today.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anaya, the president of DAEJAYON IGCOS at Harvard University. It's truly moving to witness this gathering with Ban Ki-moon, the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, and all of the amazing students here for the Global Environmental Forum for University Students. DAEJAYON IGCOS began in 2012 as the Global Environmental Club Network and has since evolved into a network spanning 21 countries involving 1,888 students from 178 different universities. Together, we work towards creating greener campuses. IGCOS operates under the slogan, think within the network, and act on one's campus. We facilitate the shared action among global environmental clubs by selecting and implementing effective plans, seeking help from advisors, and applying ourselves to accomplish our environmental goals. ICCOS empowers students to have a direct impact within their universities. Today, as global leaders come together at the Global Environmental Forum for University Students, we can undoubtedly amplify our influence on the future created by university students. One regrettable aspect of being an environmental activist as a student at this time is the prevalent issue of greenwashing worldwide. The world is plagued by voluntary greenwashing, undermining climate action with deceptive practices and the sidelining of net zero commitments. Choosing greenwashing over sincere efforts in terms of time and cost has become a concerning trend for the future of our environment. National policies that present unattainable success and are doing little towards that success are also forms of environmental greenwashing. And if any of the experts and students present here today who are participating without a genuine commitment to tackling climate issues, that can be seen too as personal greenwashing. So hence, I would like to take this moment to request all of you to pledge here today at today's forum to not engage in greenwashing and to truly commit to taking action and making genuine efforts to save the environment until the end. And we can call it the DAEJAYON Pledge. So I truly believe in all of you. Thank you so much and 감사합니다.
Next, Ban Ki-moon, the 8th Secretary General of United Nations, will give us a keynote address on carbon neutrality together with Global Citizen. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
친애하는 국내외 대학생 여러분, 내외 귀빈 여러분, 대단히 반갑습니다. 제25회 국제대학생 환경포럼 개최를 진심으로 축하합니다. 지금 이 자리에는 우리나라 137개 대학에서 200명의 대학생이 함께하고 있고 아울러 세계 25개국 81개 대학에서 350명의 대학생들이 온라인으로 참가하고 있는 것으로 알고 있습니다. 지구의 기후환경 악화를 이대로 둘 수 없다고 일어선 전 세계 대학생 여러분들의 열정에 아낌없는 찬사와 격려의 말씀을 드립니다. 이 뜻깊은 행사를 마련해 주신 서울대학교 지속가능발전연구소의 김호 소장님, 대자연의 이혜경 회장님과 김재균 부회장님, 또 관계자 모든 분들께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 또 포럼에 참석해 주신 많은 외국 분들이 계십니다. His Excellency Ambassador Pekka Metso, Finnish Ambassador in Korea, and Mr. Jörg Rebendorfer, representing European Union, and Ms. Chiara Ratzenberg, representing Italian Embassy. And thank you for all your messages coming from all around the world. 친애하는 대학생 여러분, 오늘 환경 포럼의 슬로건이 Show your influence for blue sky라고 알고 있습니다. 나는 그런 얘기를 했죠. Show your passion and compassion for our planet Earth 이렇게 얘기를 했는데 아주 이것도 좋은 저 같습니다. Show your influence. 근데 여기에 여러분들이 그 패션과 컴패션을 같이 이렇게 집어넣으면 좋을 것 같습니다. 여러분들 그 에어포칼립스 이게 저 합성어인데 그 영국의 그 파이낸셜 타임스가 공기를 말할 때 에어, 그다음에 종말, 그 에포칼립스 이걸 다 합치니까 에어포칼립스라는 그 합성어가 이렇게 나온 것 같습니다. 이 새로 만든 신조어인데 이것이 결국 대기 오염으로 인한 인간의 종말, 인간의 그 대재앙을 뜻하는 것이다. 이런 이야기를 합니다. Many scientists warn that we may face sixth mass extinction. Mass extinction, what does that mass extinction mean? Mass extinction means that more than 70% of all living, including human beings, will perish. when did fifth mass extinction happen? Again, climatologists, scientists say that it happened 65 million years ago. 65 million years ago. Then why should we suffer after 65 million years ago with all 21st century technology and culture, everything? Why? Because our negligence, our responsibility not to have taken care of our earth. 그거 여러분 알아야 됩니다. 그래서 이 에포칼립스라는 말이 나왔다. 에어포칼립스. 잘 외워두기 바랍니다. 세계보건기구 WHO에 이르면 대기오염 관련 질병으로 매년 700만 명이 이상이 조기에 사망한다. 이렇게 해서 연간 1260만 명이 사망한다. 이런 얘기 있습니다. 사실은 코로나19로 3년간 700만 명이 죽었다. 그러면 기후위기를 잘못하면 1년에 1260만 명. 어느 게 더 많습니까? 어느 게 더 무섭습니까? 이 코로나의 몇백 배 더 무서운 것이다. 이런 이야기를 하고 있습니다. 그래서 유엔이 2019년 12월 17일 유엔 총회 결의를 통해서 대기 오염에 대한 경각심을 제고하고 국제적 협력을 강화하기 위해서 푸른 하늘을 위한 세계 청정 대기의 날, International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies를 채택했습니다. As far as my memory serves me correct, this is just the fourth time that any resolution at the United Nations since the admission of Korea into the United Nations has taken action. The first one was since 1976. There were many resolutions taken at the United Nations on the situation on Korean Peninsula until 1975. Then since 76, nothing has been done. Of course, the Security Council has taken up Korean issues, but not in the General Assembly, where all the member states are participating. Then what were previous three cases? One was President Kim Dae-jung's time when he paid a very historic visit to North Korea, had a summit meeting. There was a welcoming resolution. At that time, both South and North Korea most welcome. Second time, President Roh Moo-hyun's visit to North Korea. Third time, President Moon Jae-in's visit to North Korea. This has nothing to do with any political, but it was just welcoming. Now, the fourth time happened during my time, not as a Secretary General, as Chairman of the National Commission on Climate Change and Air Quality. That's the only official Korean government job which I did. That's a pro bono, without any pay. Then fourth time, by the initiative of Korean government, because so many people were suffering from this bad air quality. So President Moon Jae-in at that time asked me to lead this National Commission on Climate Change and Air Quality. At the time, I am very proud that this was the only fourth UN General Assembly taken at the initiative of Korean government. So you should be proud, but we should implement. This is not for the Korea. This is a resolution meant for all the people around the world because it was agreed upon by the General Assembly. In any way, let me speak in Korean. 세계 대학생 여러분, 2007년부터 10년까지 제가 유엔 사무총장으로 재임하면서 이뤄낸 좀 성과가 있다. After my retirement, I had been asked thousand times questions. What are you proud of? What have you done during your 10-year assignment responsibility as a Secretary General? I think two. One is adoption of Sustainable Development Goals with very ambitious 17 goals. Second, that was on September 25th, 2015. All the leaders from the world, including Pope, came to the United Nations and celebrated this decision. And I believe that SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, are by far in the history of the United Nations the most ambitious, most far-reaching, most future-oriented for the people and for our planet Earth. Thank you. Now, what is the second one? Second one is this climate change agreement in Paris. That was also done in the same year, 2015, December 12th. December 12th. As far as I remember, there were only two moments in this world, since the inauguration of the United Nations. I think in 1945, after Second World War, when United Nations were born on October 24th, I think that was the moment. That was the moment when whole worlds were united. But I think that has already been forgotten during last 5 years or so. Then, as far as I understand, recently, since 1945, there were two more moments where whole world's leaders were united as one. There was the adoption of Sustainable Development Goals on September 25, 2015, and the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Paris Climate Change Agreement. That's what you name, any moment when people were united. So we should be very proud. So I am proud. It's not that I don't claim that it was done by myself alone. It was done by whole world's people, regardless of where you are coming from. But the problem is that implementation. I am deeply concerned that while people have adopted these two historic agreements, they are not keeping it. Now, at this moment, in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, you just saw the ambassador from the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. The world leaders are gathered there to talk about how we can expedite the implementation of climate change agreement. It's not moving. It's not moving at all. I am not optimistic that at the end of this COP28, people will come almost again sense of frustration. Because the world is so much divided, politically, economically, regionally. This is a real problem. That's why only group of persons whom I can appeal is you. Like you young people, you should be raising your voice. That's why I have been speaking out. Raise your voice. Challenge your leaders. Tell your leaders that, Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, this is the place where I and my succeeding generation, my children, will have to live. If you don't do this now, because you don't have any power. But unfortunately, these political leaders, they have the power at this time. You will soon be able to reach such a stage to be responsible for this world. So tell them that this is the world where I and my succeeding generation are going to live. Make sure this planet Earth, climate change, is sustainable. Otherwise, we'll make you accountable. You have the right to vote. You have the right to vote. You have the right to choose your own leaders. You will be chosen by succeeding generations. So please be ready. please be prepared for your ultimate responsibility. That's what I'm asking you. That just two things. Climate change. We have 17 goals in Sustainable Development Goals. Number 13 is, that's just one of the 17 goals. Well, what's the difference of number 13 and rest of 16 goals? Rest of the 16 goals are political decision. Political decision. You can do it or you may not do it. You are not responsible for that. But number 13 is a treaty. That's the law. That's international law. That's why we have taken number 13, climate change, in Paris Agreement. That you must keep. Otherwise, you are in trouble. It's like our domestic law. If you don't keep and abide by this domestic law, you will be punished. But unfortunately, there's not such effective mechanism to punish the countries. That's the weakness of international law. But that's the only difference. So please know that. That's why I'm always very much proud, and I can clearly tell that it happened during my time. It didn't just happen during my time. Because of my strong commitment, strong passion, and compassion, I was able to draw whole world leaders to agree on climate change. Now, with all this regional conflict, like particularly between United States and China, and look at what is happening in Middle East between Israel and Hamas and other Arab countries. So we are still, they simply don't understand what is going on to our planet Earth, to our generation. So I think it is your responsibility to raise your voice and challenge your leaders. This is the main purpose I'm now telling you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, then what is now at this important? Global citizenship. Global citizenship. You should come, you should possess the global citizenship. Then what does global citizenship mean? You may be proud of being Korean citizen. You may be proud of being American, Europeans, or whatever nationalities. But we are living in a small planet Earth. National boundaries do not mean much. There may be some ideologies, ideological differences, but ideologies does not mean much when it comes to our future of our planet. This planet Earth age is almost 4 billion years now. I do not know when and how long we will be able to sustainably living in this planet Earth. If this kind of a climate crisis continues to happen, then there is no guarantee. As I told you, that we may face with the 6th mass extinction. 70% of all living things, including animals and including human beings, will perish. Therefore, unless you are equipped with the global citizenship, then I will tell you a very easy way. What does global citizenship mean? When I was younger than you are now, I was a high school boy, senior. I was lucky enough to be invited to the United States as one of the international students. As a last program was a meeting with the John F. Kennedy, President John F. Kennedy. I was one of 140 students. President Kennedy was telling us like this: the world political leaders do not engage much. They do not talk among themselves, but you can do better. You know, I was amongst like you. I was very young. Since you are young, you can do better. You can communicate among yourself better. There are no national boundaries in this world. there were much, much stricter boundaries at the time because East and West, communist and democracy, Soviets and United States, Europeans, they were not talking each other. There were much, much stricter national boundaries. But at that time, President Kennedy said, there are no national boundaries. I was wondering, why is he saying that way? There are much stricter national boundaries. He said, the most important thing is that whether you are ready to extend your helping hand. Helping hand means compassion. National boundaries, no national boundaries means we are living in just one planet Earth. That is, I realized, I interpreted myself. That's a global citizenship. Whether you are Korean, American, Europeans, that doesn't matter. We are same human beings. We are same human beings. Therefore, we have to care our human being, and we have to care our planet Earth. That's the global citizenship. So do you know what I did after my retirement? The first thing I did after my retirement, 10 years at the United Nations, I established small foundation, Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizenship. Global Citizenship. That's located in Vienna, Austria. Vienna, Austria. I'm working together with the former Austrian president, Heinz Fischer. So I'm really trying to reach out to young people like you as I'm doing today. Therefore, I'm urging you, and I really urge you that we must work together to realize a better and sustainable world and more peaceful world. I think that is what we are given, mandate, and you have the prerogative. Even though you are no longer in any government positions, now you will become professor, musicians, sports, or political leaders. So using all your power and instrument, you can work together. That's my message to you today. So let us work together to realize a sustainable and better and peaceful world for all, where we will really address climate issues and realize all 17 sustainable development goals. Then, at that time, we can claim that we are living in a sustainable world. That's your moral responsibility now. For ambassadors, your political responsibility. For me, I have part political, part responsibility. So I work together with you. So show your leadership, show your vision, and use your power as a next leader, future leaders. And thank you for your attention. Let us work together. Thank you.
Thank you for the enlightening keynote address. Now, we will take a commemorative photograph. All the honored guests, please come to the stage. 1, 2, 3. Show your influence for blue sky.
Today, during this session, we will explore the severity of air pollution threatening human health and discuss ways to improve the air quality. We will also reflect the importance of international cooperation and solidarity in addressing these challenges. Now, let's listen to the experts' presentation.
Mr. Jörg Beveren Derfer, Minister Counselor at the Trade and Economic Section of the Delegation of the European Union to the Republic of Korea, will offer the first presentation. He will give us a presentation under the title Global Climate Crisis, EU Response. Please give him a big round of applause.
Just to say, I have a presentation which might be a bit serious, or is serious, because the subject is serious, and as His Excellency, the General Secretary of the UN, Ban Ki-moon, said beforehand, due to our own negligence, we are there. Here we are. The left, you see the present situation, and you see we have already now a global warming of 1.2 degrees, and we have 2 times more droughts. We have a precipitation of 1.3% times higher, and we will see much more effects like this if we don't do anything. And you know that there were nationally determined contributions which were decided during the negotiations of the COPs, the Committee of the Parties, and where parties agreed on an enhancement of or augmentation of degrees by 2 degrees Celsius, and there should be also pursued efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees. But even this leads to very negative consequences, and not to talk about what happens if nobody does anything. You see it on the right side. So the effect is much, much worse. Does it mean that the situation is hopeless? No, it is not, but we have to act. You see already that the provisions originally that there will be an increase of emissions by 16% by 2030 is not anymore the thought of today. They say today it will be increased, yeah, sure, by 3%. And on the other hand, to get to the agreed goal of COP15, we have to get emissions fall by 28% to reach the goal of 2% degrees augmentation. So there's a lot to be done, particularly if you want to have the 1.5 degrees target, then even emissions have to drop by 42%. So things are really difficult, and we have to take actions. Now I work for the EU, and here you see the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. But what I want to say basically is we have in the EU the so-called Green Deal, and there's a European climate law which binds not only the EU but all the EU member states, which are 27, so 27 countries, to get by 2050 to net zero, and by 2030 to a reduction by 55% compared to the level of 1990. If you compare this, for example, with Korea, you have very similar objectives. You have also net zero by 2050, but you have minus 40% by 2030, but on a reference base of 2018, so much later. If somebody can put forward, good. So is this an easy task? Not at all. And I was told I should talk more about air pollution, but the issues are much more complex. So there are so many different factors and so many different industry sectors and issues involved, coming from different industries to transport to buildings. So you have to tackle a lot of different things. Energy sources, and in the European Union, we launched in July 2021 a package of new legislative initiatives named Fit for 55. Why Fit for 55? Because 55% reduction of emissions by 2030. That's the idea. Also to understand maybe more the whole concept within the EU, you have to differentiate their regulations and directives. So regulations get into force automatically, whereas directives have to be transposed by our 27 member states into their national law. So it takes them around 2 more years. And the other thing you have to know, this has been launched in July 2021. This means that the European Commission, you saw the president beforehand, proposes a law, but then it still has to be vetted by the European Council, which is a representation of all the 27 member states, and then it goes to the parliament, the European Parliament, and they have also their opinion. The parliament is a representation of the people. There are elections every couple of years. And then these three institutions try to find a political compromise. This can take very long in some cases. In this case, not. After 2 years, all of these laws are in place. This is very exceptional. And you see that within the EU, there's really a common view that we must do something now. If I can go to the next one, yeah. Maybe this is a very important graph because you see different issues which are very important also for Korea. You see on the left the emission trading system. What is this? You have this in Korea as well since 2015. Within the EU, we have this since 2005. It is basically the situation that certain industry sectors, because they are high pollutants, they have high emissions, they get, in the EU, it's named a cap and trade system. They get a cap on the emissions. They can only produce so many emissions, not beyond. If they produce more emissions, they get fined. And each year, this cap is going down. For the emissions below this cap, they get some free allowances. They don't have to pay. But for the rest, they have to buy certificates, which they then can trade. We reform now this ETS system by accelerating the cap going downwards, by extending also the covered sectors, for example, the maritime sector is now in the future covered as well, and by phasing out these free allowances. This might lead to the situation that companies leave the EU because it's getting too expensive and they intended to produce abroad and re-import to the EU. This would be a bit stupid, I guess, no? Would not be really supportive of the idea of a green transformation. And that's why the EU put into place CBAM, the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. This means if you produce abroad and you import to the EU these materials covered by the ETS, you have to pay the same price as if you produce within the EU. But if you already pay a carbon price at home, then you can deduce what you have already paid. So let's take an abstract example. POSCO, as a steel producer here, wants to export to the EU, then it will have to pay this carbon price, but as POSCO is already charged by the own KETS here, it can deduce what it has paid here and pay only the difference in the EU. And we think this is fair and equal, but it is discussed. But it's an important topic. But you see, this is all very complex, and you come very quickly to the point that there's no agreement at global level, because each country has other ideas. And we, for example, get also some sort of, let's say, reproached, saying, hey, you only enforce your own system. Why don't we just talk and agree on a common global solution? Then we might ask, would you, dear students, think that all the big emitters of the world would come to the same solution, knowing that maybe the biggest emitters are, for example, the US and China? This is very difficult, and I think we could wait for this for years and decades. So the EU says, no, we don't want to wait. We need action now, and we go ahead. But we get criticized. But the EU is open to discussions at international level. Other examples I want just to mention is very important, renewable energy. This is for the EU very important. So we have a renewable energy directive. Our target is to have by 2030, 45% of our energy as renewable energy. This is very high. Just to mention Korea, your target here is 21.6 at the moment. That's a big difference. So we are really going forward towards green hydrogen and solar energy, wind energy, and as I say, there's a big difference between brown, gray, or green hydrogen. Brown and gray hydrogen is still fossil energy, so it's not and has high emissions. So it's very important to see that a lot of investments is needed and a lot of thinking and preparations. Also very important for us is energy efficiency. We have our own target here of 11.7% by 2030. So this is quite an achievement, meaning you don't waste so much energy. Basically, you reduce your energy usage. This is very important. So you don't need energy which is produced by waste and having more emissions. You just build and construct in a different way or have a different kind of transport. And what also is at our heart is the circular economy, that you keep basically all the materials within one circular, that nothing is going out, you don't have waste. So now I just want to bring this few examples. If I come to the next slide. So this is on air pollution. Here we are not so far, insofar that we have here ambient air quality directives, which is a set of quality standards for 12 air pollutants, which basically make our member states, the 27 member states, commit to and drive to tackle air pollution, but we are on the way of revising them. So there is a proposal from the Commission and focusing basically on 4 main issues. First, to get stronger rules, also leading to zero pollution objectives by 2050, and also some intermediate targets by 2030, and by improving the monitoring and assessing the situation, by stronger enforcement measures in case somebody doesn't follow the rules, and by better information communication to the general public, to the people, including us. Why is this so important, air? I mean, it is, according to EU research, it's the most lethal environmental cause. I mean, saying 300,000 people per year within the EU die because of air pollution. So if we improve the situation, the mortality rate will go down. It hits particularly socially disadvantaged and vulnerable people. And it also has a very bad impact on the environment. This eutrophication, it means you have a lot of plankton and algae in the water. And the economic effect, though, to clean up the air is very expensive, but in the middle or long run, it is much cheaper than paying for all these negative effects of this air pollution. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we come to international climate action. What I said before, in the EU, though sometimes being tilted like this, we are not doing this alone at all. We really, already within the EU, we have 27 member states. We always have to communicate and discuss and agree on objectives. But of course, we know very well that we face a challenge which is global. And we can only solve it if everybody is basically taking part in taking its measures. They don't have to be identical. They can only be similar, maybe even different, but something has to be done by everybody, because it cannot be that main emitters produce, for example, the double of emissions they produce now than 20 years ago. You see that we are one of the biggest financer of the green transition. We give a third of the global financing for the green transition, and also we have a special neighborhood policy. 30% of this money is going basically to climate objectives. We work at bilateral level, also with Korea, for example. We have a free trade agreement with the Republic of Korea. Within this free trade agreement, we have different chapters. They have all to be negotiated, and one of these chapters is named the TSD chapter. This is Trade and Sustainable Development. And here, under this chapter, you have issues like labor issues, we have corporate social responsibility, but you have also environment and climate. And in this regard, we have annual meetings with the counterparts of your ministries, from basically Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Trade and Investment and Energy. And we discuss with them how we see that things are in each other's region and what are the plans for the future, which is very helpful. And then we, of course, we are engaged at the multilateral level. This is, for example, the UN, COP, as it's taking place now, or the OECD, very important as well, or also the WTO, the World Trade Organization, where issues like this are also discussed. I come to the next slide. Okay. So we have COP28 at this moment. This is a mega event, very, very important, and it is very difficult to say what will be the outcome. We heard His Excellency saying beforehand he's not very optimistic because I also say it's often very much dependent on the political mood, and I think the political mood at the moment is not without frictions, and so it has to be seen. From the EU side, we really would like to have that what was agreed in the past is now endorsed and put into place with concrete steps and milestones and concrete goals. We want to have the definition of or development of national adaptation plans. We want to have a global increase of the coverage of carbon pricing. Carbon pricing is exactly what I said before, and the CBAM, that in more countries, emitters have to pay if they produce a lot of emissions. Because this is an incentive, it has two good effects. First, it makes companies invest into cleaner production. And secondly, if they don't do so and have to pay, you can use this money to foster projects in the direction of the green transition. In general, global financing is a very important issue, also during COP28, because all this needs money. You cannot revamp complete industries without having the support of investors, of the industry, of financial institutions. It is very costly, at least in the short run. And we also have to support the least developed countries. That's also very important. Nobody should be left out and left behind. It is a global task and global effort. And we want to have a global phase out of unabated fossil fuels in an increased abatement of methane emissions. Just a last few words to our relations to Korea. Okay, we have a summit normally every year, so this is the leaders from both sides, took place here in Seoul last May, and you see also in the summit, you see from year to year there are more statements with green language. There is also a cooperation planned as regards research and development. We have a program in the EU, it's named Horizon Europe, and it was agreed that there will be negotiations on associating Korea to this research program. Very important, we have also the EU Republic of Korea Green Partnership. Another partnership was just agreed half a year before, and it's a EU-ROK digital partnership, and this goes hand in hand. The digital transformation and the green transformation goes hand in hand because the green transformation very much depends on digitalization. So we are here really on the right track, and we have many issues which we will focus on. First, implementation of the Paris Agreement, the importance of renewable energy, energy efficiency, circular economy. We have biodiversity, sustainable agriculture. We have this program from farm to fork, meaning the whole line from production to the plate of people, all the steps with transport, etc., should be sustainable and green. And then we have the just energy transition, also including least developed countries. And what's also important, we have also a very important agenda in Europe, at least as regards plastics, and this covers as well the full plastic life cycle. So this is also very important. I think also in Korea, I think there's something to be done. And finally, I would like to come to the project and maybe to you, I hope so, for the years to come. We have now in place, as from in some weeks, a special partnership project, so funded by the EU with 4 million euros. And this means that we try to have projects and events in place in cooperation initiatives between Korea and the EU. And the focus is as well on the youth, on you basically, because you are already now drivers and will be much longer the drivers, I hope so at least, in this regard. So it's very important to engage you. And there was already a first event just some weeks ago, 2 months ago, the Youth Climate Action Festival. I don't know if anybody of you was there, but there will be other events like this in the following months and years. So I hope to meet you again there and see you very engaged and supportive. So thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you for your presentation. You were able to hear about the importance of the international cooperation for addressing climate crisis and capabilities that the environmental leader should possess. And now, we'll have the question and answer session. Due to time constraints, we'll take only one question from the audience on site. So if you have any questions, please raise your hand up, then we'll pass the microphone to you.
Thank you for coming today. So I have a question. The EU demonstrates excellent leadership and execution in climate action. As a Korean, it is pleasing and hopeful that the EU has established a green partnership with Korea. So currently, experts report that achieving carbon neutrality goals in Korea is challenging. So given the existing system and policies, so I'm curious about how the EU approaches and aims to achieve results in this situation.
Thank you very much for this question. I think it is very challenging also for us in the EU. I mean, first, I think you need a very clear objective and vision. That's the most important thing, that you know where you want to go to. And I think you have this already in Korea. You have your climate objectives. You know, you have net zero 2050. You have, even though it goes a bit up and down sometimes, you know where you want to be at by 2030. So afterwards, what you need is really a clear set of rules, I think, because you need to shape, you know, for each industry, each aspect in a way which makes sense and correlates to the other sectors and other issues which you face in this transition. I think what is very important in this regard that you involve all stakeholders in this approach in shaping the legislative framework, particularly all the people. So we have in the EU, we have always, before each law, we have an impact assessment. We inform the civil society, have meetings with them during the whole process to get their input. However, what should not be forgotten either is certainly business and finance, even though sometimes they might not be so popular, but it is not just, I would say, often because after all, they are, of course, defenders of their business, and with this business also of often hundreds of thousands of employment jobs and social security for people. So you have to see where is the right balance and what is possible. And this is also the reason why there is no unique answer. So each country has its own particularities and has to figure out, seeing its own particularities, advantages, disadvantages, also cultural differences, what is manageable and what is not manageable and in which time. But this, as I said, can only work in really close cooperation with all stakeholders involved. And finally, in this regard, when we are in the EU so much used to, because we always, my colleagues are from all different member states, so we have to figure out what are differences, not automatic in many ways. But in this regard, for the green transition, of course, the global aspect is even much more important, you know, and that's also why COP28 is now so important, because if you have countries there, like, just name it, China and India, or maybe also US, and they don't pull at the same strength, then you have really a problem, and you have to see then really that to try to find the right alliances and work together with like-minded partners, and we are very glad to have Korea there on our side. So, thank you.
Next, Dr. Ancestic Shiny, the coordinator for air quality, energy, and health at the WHO Asia Pacific Environmental Health Center, will give us a presentation under the title WHO Activities for Better Air Quality and Health. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Very good afternoon, all dear students. It's my pleasure on behalf of Dr. Akim Ali, Director of Head of WHO Asia Pacific Center for Environment and Health, warmly greet you this afternoon. So I would like to make presentation in the next 15 minutes to introduce about WHO activities on air quality, energy, and health. Can you go next slide, please? My presentation will focus on three main issues. So we'll provide very brief information about air quality and health in the global level and also with reflection of a regional situation. And secondly, the scope of work of WHO on air quality, energy, and health. And then a few thoughts about youth engagement on air quality and health. Next slide, please. So today we have been discussing a lot about the impacts of air pollution on population health. And this number has been highlighted several times. So in 2022, UN General Assembly resolution released recognizing human right to healthy environment, including for air, soil, and air and water, and also climate. So we see here about more than 91% of global population are living in settings with high air pollution, which affects their health. And in terms of cooking, many parts of the world, people use unhealthy cooking devices, unhealthy fuel for cooking. So it affects over 2 billion people. They are exposed to indoor air pollution. When we talk about air pollution, we should really consider both ambient outdoor air pollution and also indoor environment. So we see here that according to latest estimate, about 7 million people die every year due to exposure to air pollution. This is figure only, for example, for one parameter, P2.5, PM2.5, so fine dust. So which means that if we don't have, this is not complete picture of impact of air pollution on human health. Out of 7 million people, more than 5 million people, these are due to non-communicable disease. So if we see the situation globally, per 100,000 population, for example, over about 50 people die due to non-communicable diseases associated with air quality. And if we see the Western Pacific region of WHO, which covers 37 member states, it's almost double. About 80 people per 100,000 population die due to negative effects of air pollution. Next slide, please. So this figure, the main risk factors of non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable disease, the highest burden of morbidity and mortality of population. And if we see here, the air pollution is the second largest contributor of non-communicable diseases after tobacco smoking. So it shows that magnitude of impact of air pollution on human health, and also it shows the urgent need to address the air quality, air pollution issue to improve environment and human health. Next slide, please. So WHO, we today discussed a lot about we need to achieve ambitions of Sustainable Development Agenda. Air pollution and health, this action actually contributes to achieving almost all SDGs. I would like to emphasize three main indicators related to air quality and health. So SDG indicator related for target goal 3 related to mortality of population due to air pollution. And another indicator, SDG 7, about population primarily using unhealthy foods. And SDG indicator 11, annual mean levels of fine particulate matter. WHO is custodian agency to monitor this progress at the global level, and also we facilitate monitoring at the regional level, closely working with the countries. So you see here some data for the global level and for the Western Pacific region. So it's very important to make concrete, to undertake concrete activities to achieve the goals, and that's why one of the main contributions of WHO is to monitor this achievement, to track progress, and define, inform the policy actions at the national level in these areas. So, which means that if countries take efforts to implement these targets, especially through implementing WHO recommended air quality levels, it's good contribution to achieve ambitious goals set by Sustainable Development Agenda. Next slide, please. So this is the situation in the on the global level, and also you can see the countries of Asia Pacific region. So we usually, when we communicate the regional data, it doesn't say a lot because it masks the real differences between countries in areas. So you could see that some countries are far from reaching health-based values recommended by WHO. Many countries still in the level of only interim target, even below the interim target, which really show that despite the efforts being now, a lot of more action, more intensified action is needed to tackle this public health crisis. And we could see that in the region, annually, more than 2 million people die. So if we see this number, it's not just number, we are talking about human lives, number of people dying in peacetime, normal time. Every year we are losing 2 million people. And also we are not talking about the diseases or health conditions. Millions of people are affected of poor air quality issues. So it really shows that although at the national level, international level, actions are being taken, these are not enough. So we really need to act to protect people's health. Next slide, please. So now I move to the second part of my presentation on the main scope of work of WHO. So WHO is United Nations specialized agency on public health. So we have one of the main functions is research, evidence generation to inform global public health policy. So in this, for this function, we develop, facilitate systematic reviews, and based on that to come up with the global guidelines of advisory nature, for example, for indoor air quality, outdoor air quality. So this is based on a robust systematic review of findings. And then, as I mentioned before, we also custodian agency to monitor progress of air quality and health-related international commitments. Second important role is capacity building and technical support. In addition to developing research and developing guidelines, we also provide support to member states how to translate these guidelines into reality. So this is an important component of our activity. Another component, the leadership and coordination, to work with countries to improve environmental health governance structure and to provide policy support. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, one of our key functions is to develop evidence-based, health-based guidelines. So from late 80s, we released this guideline. So now we have 2021, WHO revised the guideline based on the latest scientific evidence. So Jörg also mentioned in his presentation EU ambition to reach, to decrease air pollution. If you noticed, the target is 5 microgram per cubic meter for PM 2.5, for example. So WHO renewed threshold, the recommended level for ultra dust is 5, because we have now strong evidence that even with small concentrations, air pollution affects human health. So These the really one important function of WHO is to set evidence-based guidelines for member states and for organizations to consider into their action, especially when they set national standards or national targets or national roadmaps. So this is just in the slide. The figure shows that if even 2005 guidelines achieved the label 10 microgram per cubic meter for PM 2.5, you could see that even when the country reached interim target 1, the lowest criteria, they could save about more than 10% of people's lives. If country meets WHO recommended level of air quality standard, it's over 70%. So you see that it's not just setting the numbers. It really, countries can set incremental targets to achieve the air quality guidelines, and then by that, actual implementation of the guidelines could contribute to reducing the disease mortality, and also it brings a lot of social and economic benefits. Next slide, please. So I will not stop on this slide, but just wanted to highlight that this is the current situation of implementation of WHO air quality guidelines. So if we see the first graph, for example, Western Pacific region, Asia region, only 3% of countries are compliant with WHO air quality guidelines. Of course, it's very high threshold, but if we want to healthy lives, if we want to protect human health, so we see that this only 3% of countries are compliant with the actual requirements, and about 50% are compliant with interim target level 1, which is the first level. So it really shows that a lot need to be done to reach this level. And of course, as Jörg also mentioned in his presentation, it's not easy to achieve this, but very important to set targets, how to achieve this, who is responsible for which action, how to fund this, which kind of technologies, interventions need to be clear. So it's really showed that we now talk about problem, but very important to address these problems in systematic way. Next slide, please. So this is just a few examples of countries. There are a lot of good examples in the countries. For example, in the Republic of Korea, one good example, they set targets, revised targets in 2022, last December. So from 18 microgram per cubic meter for PM 2.5, they target by 2027 to reduce the ultrafine dust to 13 microgram. So this is one example. There is also another example of Australia, which set the standard, taking into account local conditions, geographic conditions, demographic conditions, to reduce to 8 microgram per cubic meter. So it's getting quite close to WHO recommended values. And we also have quite a good example of joint Korea-China project, which contributes to reduction of air pollution in both countries. Next slide, please. So one of the another important actions for WHO is also to develop evidence base to improve household air pollution, and there is a huge gap for the use of clean energy in households. So that's why it's very important for health sector to work with energy and other health determinant sectors to reduce this gap. And you see here some guideline documents released by WHO related to indoor air quality. Next slide, please. So I already mentioned about our role on monitoring and reporting, and I wouldn't stop here. The main our activity is really to monitor the progress of these sustainable development goals, communicate the main results to countries and partners. Next slide, please. So another action I mentioned, the capacity building and working with countries To help countries to implement WHO guidelines, WHO develops several tools. How, for example, how to assess economic aspects of action for heat action, and also for AirQ Plus tool. It's more to support decision makers and local level practitioners to conduct health risk assessment. And we also have ClimaQ tool to assess health and economic co-benefits of climate action. And maybe it might be of interest to you, WHO launched the training package on air pollution and health. It's accessible online. So one of our activities is also to work with countries, to work with health sector to improve their leadership in their contribution to the fight against air pollution. Next slide, please. So I will just briefly mention that we are based in our center, WHO Asia Pacific Center for Environment and Health is based in Seoul. We are part of Western Pacific region of WHO. We are working with 37 member states. These are our main functions for so far. So to improve emitting space, for this, in next 2 years, we are planning to do some work on air quality and health regional overview for the 37 member states, and also to do work on indoor air quality, and also to collect best practices in air quality management in megacities. And we also provide some support for the policy to improve policies and regulations and capacity building. And one of the important aspects is also health sector leadership in contribution in mitigating air pollution and also improving climate resilience. Next slide, please. So here I'm coming to the last part of my presentation about the youth. So we are very happy to participate in this important forum, to have this discussion, the intergenerational dialogue. So we really think that the youth is really you have a lot of potential in your leadership role. And already before this meeting, we had opportunity to have a brief tour and already see that you have a lot of innovative ideas and also implementing in practice. So your leadership role in innovations is very important. Education and research, you have huge potential to improve use opportunities and also to take part in the ongoing research work and also educate yourself. And we see that youth is very important pillar for technology and social media. Through you, we could outreach the communities and different stakeholders. And you have a lot of also power, opportunity to increase action at the community level. And also it's very important that you have power and also you can lead and be part of policy discussions, policy dialogues. Next slide, please. So this is information about WHO, how we engage youth in our work. The Youth Council of WHO was established a few years ago, and it has several working groups. As you may see here, we have 5 working groups. Climate change and health working group is one of them. So if you are interested, you could search this and then get familiarized with the work of the Youth Council in WHO. And also we have Youth Delegate Program. So this WHO program encourages young people to take part in policy discussions and also in main decision-making body meetings. So I think it's also a very good way of youth engaging at the policy level, international forums. Yes, last slide, please. So we think that youth has a lot of potential. So in addition to leading the community action, it's very important also be a role model by your individual action. For example, use sustainable consumption habits and sustainable transport. And also it's very important to be example of engaging communities and advocates for climate change and air pollution mitigation. So with this, I end my presentation. I'm happy to take a question. Thank you.
Now it's time for the question Q&A session. This time, we'll take the question from the online participant. Could you raise your hand up if you have any questions? Okay, then number 23, USA from Rachel. Well, could you put your mic on and give her a question?
Yes, hello. My name's Rachel. I'm from the United States and I go to Columbia University. And I had a question. Thank you so much for your presentation. It was so amazing. I had a question specifically about how to inspire the youth to take action. So I wanted to know, you mentioned social media a little bit, but I wanted to know what is the most effective medium that we can use to inspire the youth to make the sustainable changes that you were referring to.
Young people, maybe you'll be in a good position which media can be used, but I would like to share an example of youth we engaged in my previous work in Europe, for example, like DAEJAYON, European Environment and Health Forum. And we work with them very closely. So in order to convey the message through social media, we work with them to develop the key messages for the community. So it's very important which target audience we want to reach. Do we want to reach your peer colleagues, young people, or do we want to reach decision makers? Depending on the target audience, we work with them. Once we develop jointly with youth the key messages, we consult the proper channel. For example, lately, it was very successful using Twitters. For different, for example, to convey very short but powerful messages through Twitters. Or if we want to reach out decision makers, it's better also to use some kind of advocacy, short advocacy brief, and then communicate through the help of the young people. So far I would answer this way. I hope I could give some answer on that. But of course, I encourage that young people, you have a lot of experience in using current technologies, and then that's why we are very open to work with you young people to embrace your innovative ideas and approaches. Thank you.
Thank you for the answer. Once again, please give her a big round of applause to Dr. Enkesaseg Shiny.
So far, we've listened to the presentation of environmental experts. Moving on, we will now hear the voices of youth who are actively responding to climate crisis. This is an opportunity to see the future the university students are creating. The first youth student is Jung Young-jun from Seoul National University. He will give a presentation on Minimal Waste Festival, Enjoying with the Earth. Please give him a big round of applause.
Hello everyone. I am Youngjun Jung, a college student enthusiast of DAEJAYON from Seoul National University. Today, I will introduce the topic of Enjoying with the Earth Minimal Waste Festival. What do you think is the best way to enjoy campus life? University Festival is the best way to enjoy campus life. However, we can also argue that University Festival is the best way to destroy the campus environment. Currently, the waste problem at University Festival is that waste that can be reduced with a little effort is being discharged indiscriminately. So it is necessary for universities to take effort to reduce waste emissions along with energy consumption. First, at food booths, excessive use of disposable products such as wooden chopsticks, paper cups, and disposable plates is causing a negative impact on the environment. Second, regarding garbage containing food, there is an issue where food is discarded with other waste, making recycling and incineration challenging. Third, another issue is the indiscriminate incineration of waste in batches regardless of distinction, and separate collection facilities exist only formally and are incinerated without separation. So, one student at Seoul National University has raised awareness of this issue and has drafted a proposal for an eco-friendly festival. To reduce disposable items, and waste generated at food booths, the proposer suggests placing food booths close to dining areas and renting multi-use containers. As the first case, I will introduce the Minimal Waste Festival held at Seoul National University. The Seoul National University Institute for Sustainable Development and SNU Environmental Club Association took responsibility for promoting the festival concept, installing and managing separate collection facilities, and DAEJAYON operated Minimal Waste Festival promotion booth, organized an eco-friendly festival panel exhibition, and installed the scoreboard for the number of multi-use containers used, and conducted multi-use container user awareness survey. Multi-use container rental company was responsible for distributing and collecting the multi-use containers. These are photos from the Minimal Waste Festival held at Seoul National University. Students are drinking beverages using multi-use cups. Also, students are eating food served in multi-use plates. To facilitate easy return, multi-use container return zone has been set up. With each return of a multi-use container, the number on the scoreboard increased. This allowed the festival participants to see and track how much multi-use containers was used and how much disposable waste had been reduced collectively. DAEJAYON explained to students the environmental impact of disposable items, the significance of an eco-friendly festival, and the anticipated effects through the panel exhibition at the Minimal Waste Festival. We also operated an upcycling experience booth to encourage implementation of minimal waste practices. We conducted multi-use container user awareness survey among the students who participated in the Minimal Waste Festival. Now, as a result of the Minimal Waste Festival held at Seoul National University, 12,544 disposable containers were reduced, resulting in a reduction of 616 kilograms of waste, a reduction of 3,073 kilograms of greenhouse gas emissions carbon dioxide, and a 20 kilogram reduction in fine dust. Let's also take a look at the awareness survey conducted among the students who participated in the festival. In response to the question, what was the most uncomfortable thing when you received food in a disposable container in the past? Over half of the students are aware of the excessive generation of waste and environmental pollution issues. Furthermore, when asked, "Are you willing to use a multi-use container when eating food at the next festival?" 99% of students responded yes. In the last question, it was confirmed that many students of university hope for the permanent continuation of the multi-use container system on campus. In Minimal Waste Festival held at Seongsin Women's University, the results showed a reduction of 7,000 disposable containers. Also, in Minimal Waste Festival in Dongguk University, the results showed 1,207 disposable containers. Moving forward, DAEJAYON hopes to promote the Minimal Waste Festival at more universities, contributing to the creation of a green campus culture and establishing festivals where we can enjoy with the earth. Thank you.
He presented on the eco-friendly culture and campus festival created by university students. Thank you for the presentation. Next, Shin Yoonju from the SALDIS will give a presentation on how the SALDIS build the green campus system. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Yoon Joo-shin from Seungmyeong Women's University and the Elders. Today, I'm going to talk about how we, the Elders, are building the green campus system in Korea. These are the contents of today's presentation. Before we start, I want to tell you what the Elders means. Elders is the acronym of the Climate Environmental Leaders. We are a group of students who completed the Environmental Leader Training course by DAEJAYON and Ban Ki-moon Foundation. We got our name after the Elders, a group of global leaders, including Ban Ki-moon, Nelson Mandela, and other influential leaders. We want to show our influence to the world like them. And now, I'm going to talk about our green campus. Despite the importance of net zero and environment has become more and more important these days, we thought that students and universities are too indifferent to this issue. But they both have a large impact on the environment. So to reach net zero, they should undergo the transformation. When we initiated the Green Campus campaign, we established 3 big goals. First, raising awareness and actual condition of Green Campus through public evaluation. Second, presenting suggestions for establishing a sustainable Green Campus. And third, highlighting the university and societal benefits of creating a green campus. We thought these 3 goals would be the fundamental principles of our movement. Since we needed a statistical data about the environment and universities, we planned survey. We formulated all the necessary questions and developed evaluation criteria to assess each university. As a result, we created a University Student Environmental Awareness Survey and Environmental Education Grade Evaluation. We targeted over 4,000 students from 146 universities in Korea to begin our survey. We started to spread the Environment Awareness Survey and our voices through different channels. We promoted it through the online-offline bulletin board of our university, as well as in campus areas and during our classes. Additionally, we conducted our research on each university's environmental education status using various sources. And these are the results we got. Despite students expressing a strong perception of being greatly affected by climate change, their eco-friendly behaviors were not as pronounced. And we could guess why they were through these results. The answer was that students' lack of personal interest of the environment, making them less likely to engage in eco-friendly behaviors. Or they didn't know what to do because their universities are not providing enough chances. However, as students are willing to participate in environmental-related classes, we could find hope and possibilities through the survey results. Moreover, considering about 88% of students responded that building a green campus should be the top priority for their university, we felt that if the university takes action, students are ready to join in. We created the status of 100 universities on environmental education. Unlike overseas, where there are official institutes that rank universities, Korea didn't have one. That's why we decided to disclose the level of universities, making them feel the seriousness of their status and their effort. As you can see, there are no universities in platinum or gold levels. The highest level was in silver, but there were only 3 universities. And 23 universities were in the bronze, and 74 universities were in the lowest level, iron. We thought that the overall level was too low. So we turned this research into our report. We designed, organized, and visualized all the data we got and made 16 pages of report. And we made a proposal including our research and suggestions for basic steps of the Green Campus. These are the big 3 suggestions for the Green Campus. We found out that universities in Korea are hesitating to become the Green Campus because they think Green Campus requires a lot of budget or infrastructures. But we wanted to change the prejudice. Through these ways, they can be the Green Campus. The first is about education. Since we know that opening a major or class is such a difficult thing, we recommend providing an environmental education for freshmen at an orientational course. We promise that if there's no one to educate, we, the elders, are ready to provide it. And the second is about the culture students enjoy. Every university holds festivals twice a year, and due to the food trucks, various kind of disposable products are wasted. So we wanted to hold zero wasted festivals by collaborating with the reusable dishes companies. And the third is about active mitigation. By setting the roadmap and analyzing the emission quantity data, they will try to reduce their carbon emissions or waste. The elders delivered reports to their respective universities through various channels, and some universities responded positively. In some cases, we were even able to present our reports in person, making a direct impact. Some universities were interested in our proposals and carried them out. For example, Gyeonggi universities appointed the elders as ESG student members and promised to accept our proposals. And including Seoul National Universities and some universities, they hold the zero wasted festivals. Through this achievement, we saw the possibility of the green campus and felt the power of the elders and future generation. We are still continuing the project to make changes. Through this transformative experience, we felt that we could achieve our goal in the near future. We take it seriously because it's our future, not someone else's. So I think it's really important to challenge our seniors, politicians, or leaders to support us and our future. We will lead by example, as he said, our challenge never stops. Finally, we imagine our green future with the green campus. We will strive to turn all the universities in Korea into the green campus, even if it takes a long time. Additionally, we aim to further develop the elders, positioning it as the leading force of the green campus in Korea. We will be the hero reaching the net zero in Korea. So please look forward to our green future. Thank you for listening.
She presented on the challenges and process of creating a green campus system led by university students. The last youth presenter is Crystal Mellon, a Blue Sky ambassador. She will give a presentation on fine dust reduction of Blue Sky ambassador. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Hi everyone, my name is Crystal. I want to ask you, how was your sky today? While I was coming here to this forum, I saw a really clear blue sky. And it really excited me so much to come here to this forum and talk to you in regards to what our Blue Sky ambassadors have achieved throughout this time, and as well as fine dust as well. So to get started, I want to let you know that to commemorate the International Day of Clean Air for Blue Skies, 400 students from 44 teams in 12 countries around the world have been appointed as a Blue Sky ambassador. That's so amazing. And also their mission, we cannot forget, is to promote air pollution reduction and activities in their local communities. Now, we're going to see in regards to the Blue Sky ambassador process. As you see, once you become a Blue Sky ambassador and you're appointed, you also go through the Blue Sky Academy, where you are able to learn and also be evaluated on your understanding. Each team is also appointed with a local and environmental expert to know about environmental within their communities, receive feedback, and also implement the ideas that they have encountered through this academy as well. Now, where they actually put into practice their ideas was through the Blue Sky Influence Challenge. They were able to put those ideas, and also we need to remember that it involves creating protocols, conducting campaigns to improve awareness of fine dust among the youth, among our citizens as well, and also launching campaigns online and offline to let people know about reduction of the fine dust as well. Now let's explore together the influence that the Blue Sky ambassadors have. As we said, there were various teams from many countries that they implemented ideas tailored to their own communities. But let's start with South Korea. in South Korea, as you see in this panel, you can actually tell there is a board game. And I'm not sure if some of you played it, but this game involves becoming a first responder to protect our oxygen in a world that has only 1 year's worth left. This game was also played within youth centers, in environmental education programs, and receiving also positive responses. Many students felt also the importance of a blue sky. So, apart from this one, next slide, it is about a Scariamus moss wall. So I'm not sure if you saw it. It was actually exhibited on campus, and also it contains the question of how is your sky? So it was in an area that it had dense population. So many students were passing by, and those who stopped to learn about this Scariamus wall, they learned how this moss is not just a regular moss, but it has the power to have air purification effects. So it is purifying our air around you. So if you pass by that panel, you will be able to see that. As well, we need to remember, plants, they also have a lot of maintenance. However, this one does not have or require much maintenance because it naturally grows in moderate indoor humidity, which is really amazing. Now, we're going to look at the blue sky within the US. The Blue Sky Ambassadors, we actually created what is called the Air Buddy app. It's a really cool app because it walks with you, allowing you to know how much fine dust have you actually reduced by taking walk, bicycles, and not using transportation. And it's actually really important in the US because in the US, we actually we use a lot of the cars. And we use a lot of transportation. Even if it is a 5-minute or a 10-minute walk, people tend to use their cars. So through this app, we have a little character, as you can see in the side, where it changes expressions, and it also encourages you to reduce and keep on using the app. And whenever they achieve high rankings, it also changes once again. So it is encouraging the users to keep on doing their work and to participate in achieving a blue sky. Next, we're going to look into Peru. Peru was thinking so much how to create barren, seemingly parks into something more beautiful and encourage the people, the citizens walking by, to be able to also take care of our blue sky. So they implemented that air purifying plant bench. It looks pretty cool, right? This bench is not just a regular bench. As you can see, there is actually plants around there that has also air purifying effect, as well as also is communicating hub, because people walk by and they show their opinions in regards to how to protect our blue sky. And also, they put information panels to let people know about how can we be aware about the situation going on, and how can we take care of our blue sky, in other words. Now, we can see that improving awareness of fine dust through campaigns is another crucial endeavor, and we all partake care in this, okay? For this reason, we conducted also green interior projects in collaboration with universities and also office spaces. We asked them to put plant walls as well as plant in offices. And because of this project, we also sent surveys to ask the users, what do they think after some time of having those plants around them? And everybody gave us positive feedback. Everybody said that sometimes it seems a space that is really stuffy because they stay there for a long time. Now it is aesthetically and perceptually more clearer. So we're doing a great change, and we're encouraging also other people by doing these projects to also have a different change. You never know. They might go to their houses and also add more plants for air purification, right? So now we also have initiated practical campaigns for a blue sky, targeting diverse groups. It can be all the way from teenagers, from university students, and also citizens. We all have to do a change. we engage the citizens' interest by addressing curiosities, such as, does exposure of fine dust build immunity, or is it a carcinogen? Does anybody know? No one? No answer? It is actually a carcinogen. So it is really essential for us to also be able to protect our blue sky, not just for us, but also for our future generation. Additionally, the Blue Sky class is also given, where the Blue Sky ambassadors are also able to teach and share what they have experienced and learned, which is really amazing because the Blue Sky ambassadors is all of us, right? We are focusing also on enhancing awareness among teenagers and youth, providing academic education on fine dust and engaging them also in eco-friendly activities. Lastly, we also conducted the Minimal Dust Zone campaign, which is also part of the pre-registration of this forum. Did you all participate? Yes? Okay, I received great response in this one. This was actually given also both online and offline. It was to encourage the global citizens to reduce ultra-fine dust by 1 gram at least. But we have a really great, amazing result. Through the efforts that we have done, we have reduced 7,254 grams. That is almost 30 million grams. So this effort that we have done, it requires 30-year-old pine trees, 290 million of them to do. What a great work, right? To conclude, air pollution is one of the greatest environmental threats in humanity. And I know you have seen it in different slides, but it is really crucial because it was estimated that 7 million of premature deaths is because of this. So it's really important for us to understand that because we also can create that change, but we have to step up, right? So now we can go to the next slide. This one we can read together. It was mentioned by the UNEP. Air pollution is the greatest environmental threat to public health globally and accounts for an estimated of 7 million premature deaths every year. Improving our air quality will bring health development and environmental benefits. So we can see that air pollution is actually really crucial for us to reduce. Air pollution is transboundary. It is our responsibility to take action to ensure a blue sky not just for us, but for everybody, right? And our future generation as well. So the next Blue Sky Ambassador is you. Become a Blue Sky Ambassador and show your influence for a blue sky. Thank you.
We introduce the activities of the Blue Sky Ambassadors to reduce fine dusts. We share the same air and same sky. This signifies that we are living together on one earth without boundaries defined by human limitation. Especially after COVID-19, we keenly feel that world is connected globally. As university students gathered in this place today, to take action and create a new life, I hope that as the agent of change for a clean and healthy future, they will collectively address climate crisis.
By this, we will conclude the Global Environment Forum for University Student 2023.
Show your influence for blue skies. It has been Lee Jung-hyun
and Lee Jung-ha.
Thank you for your participation.